We're live, Mr. Wade. I yield, sir.
Thank you. Present good night to our Belizean people, both at home and abroad. And good night to those who will view us a little later on. And good night to all those
Yes, sir.
around the world and back. Leonard, good, pleasant good night. Um, Hope that, you know, this day was um, a blessing to all. And as always, Leonard, we give thanks and praise to the Almighty for,
Yes, sir.
for having us here. And as always, I want to welcome again our viewers to our 402. Wow, wow,
Four, oh, two, wow. So,
402,
we blew
Leonard.
past the 400. I've noticed
Wow,
we
wow,
passed the milestone.
wow.
So, quick one.
402 Belizean Affairs Show
Yes, sir.
on a blessed Wednesday. And Leonard, I am glad that the cold front had passed. The two that had passed over the nation of Belize. I am glad that the people that was on the street during those cold nights, weathered it and you know
Do you,
count their
do,
blessings
do you know if they got any help, Mr. Wade, so
within.
far?
These people are not in that mode right now. That's not their priority.
So,
That's why I say that, give thanks and praise to the Almighty for, you know um never letting this weather persist, Leonard. That's what I'm saying,
yeah.
persist, because it was going to be a detriment to a lot of, especially the old folks, the
Yes, sir.
seniors.
It look like
And
you guys got rid of the coal and sent it up this side to me because right now we tremble.
that's yes, that's the nature. That's the nature of the beast.
Last night it was down in I think it was 40, 41, 42, something like that.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
the night before it was in the 20s. 20, I think it was 28, 29. So it
Well,
was freezing,
as for
man.
me, I love the cold weather. I love it. I sleep a little better. You
Uh-huh.
know, um, I'm not a person that love the blankets. Yeah, but you know,
I
we
jump
give
on a
thanks.
tree
Yeah.
and I jump on a tree and him, so I can't
Oh
handle the
man,
cold, man.
oh man.
Me and cold are
But
no friend.
all in all, Leonard, in essence of time, and welcome. It's a pleasure to sit in your company, my brother, always. And
Same here, Mr.
I apologize um to our public, and to you, Leonard, again, that sorry that I wasn't available on a couple of shows, right?
Mr. Wade, we have to
But
do what we have to
yes,
do,
sir,
sir.
you gotta do what you
Life
gotta
goes
do. You
on.
can say it. Yes, yes, sir.
Life goes on. We gotta do what we gotta do, sir.
Yes,
So,
and we are not like some of the media hosts that are getting a stipend, getting paid, right, Leonard?
mhm. It's strictly from the
We
heart.
don't even we don't even get a
Pa-
penny from the
pa-
taxpayers' purse.
Patriotism.
Yes, sir. So, but it's a pleasure to sit in your company, and we have the pretty much 98% of the same mindset,
Yes,
as
sir.
to our people and nation. I thank you for that. And also, Leonard, we should be joined by our next
Panelists.
senior panelist, Mr. Gregory Brackett. As
Yes,
always,
sir.
he's our, backbone in terms of, we got a show from their own mouth, show and tell.
Yes,
We're gonna
sir.
do a lot. He do a lot of research, Leonard. To get these people, get caught by. See how the fish get caught by their lips, by their gills and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Give thanks and praise to Mr. Gregory Brackett. And at some point, maybe we might have Mr. Gregory Morrison too, if he
I sent
gets
him the link already, but I didn't get to speak with him personally.
due to time,
So yes, sir.
and his
Thank you.
location and stuff, But whenever he can, he braced us, and I give him thanks and praise for that, and wish him all the best. And Leonard, as always, we go straight into a program. Just a little ranting there on the side, and that's nice, healthy. That's
Yes,
that's
sir.
that's us. We do healthy conversation, right?
And we don't
So
mind the public over
we
here
don't
because we never nothing to hide.
nothing to hide, my brother.
Like the
Nothing to
friends will
hide.
say, we not come with hair and with tongue, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So they don't have to worry about come and find me like how they going through all that, like what they did with Budna. They want me, they could find me. They just gotta push the button and they could find me. I will not run away from them. But it will not be an easy task. But anyway, Leonard, straight to
Yes,
the
sir.
point. Let's do a prayer. I ask you to lead us in a prayer again tonight, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I will. Thank you very much for the privilege. I just bow my head. Divine loving Father, as we come before thy presence once more, we pray that thou mayest accept our humble expression of gratitude to thee for the privilege of life that thou had granted us. We also pray that thou would accept our expression of thankfulness for the privilege to be among our family members, friends, and loved ones. We pray that thou mayest bless our country of Belize, its people and leadership, that thou would bless this country of the United States, its people and leadership as well, and that thou would bless the rest of humanity. Don't rest our hearts, our desires, even our most secret thoughts. Please let the words of our mouth and the meditation of our mind and the contriteness of our hearts be acceptable before thy divine presence now and always. For we ask these mercies in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leonard, for always warm and sober prayer. Um,
You're welcome, sir.
like we always say, sir, that we are not pastors, we're not preachers, we don't go to church every night, or ministers or what, but we serve one God,
Amen.
and that's our Creator and the Almighty. And He and He alone we give account to, Leonard. As for me, I do not give account to no man. I bow to no man. I
Yes, sir.
serve no man, but I
Amen.
serve my God. So give thanks and praise. Leonard, I will I was sent a reading, Leonard. Now and then we get our viewers that send us reading. So
We're very
yeah,
appreciative of that, Mr.
yes, sir.
Chairman. We're very
Same
appreciative.
here. I was asked to read Psalm 75, 1 to 10. And it reads, we give thanks to you, O God. We
Amen.
give thanks for your name is near. We account your wondrous deeds. Sorry, we recount your wondrous deeds. At the set time that I appoint, I will judge with iniquity. When the earth totters on all its inhabitants, it is I who keeps steady its pillar. I say to the boastful, do not boast, and to the wicked, do not lift up your horns. Do not lift up your horns on earth, on high, or speak with naughty, naughty necks. For not from the east or from the west, and not from the wilderness comes lifting up, but it is God who execute judgment, putting down one and lifting up another.
Mm-hmm.
For in the hands of the Lord there is a cup with foaming wine, well mixed, and he pours out from it, and all the wicked of the earth shall drain it down to the dregs. But I will declare it forever. I will sing praise to the Lord of Jacob. All the
Mm-hmm.
horns of the wicked I will cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be lifted up. That's my reading, Leonard, and you know, I
Uh,
hope that that person that our viewer that sent us, is happy that I, read the,
could I make
you
a,
know,
Mr. Chairman, could I make a commentary on
sure,
the
sir,
scripture
sure, sir,
reading for tonight?
sure, sir.
I'm happy to um, hear that particular reading because
Uh huh. Okay.
it is my belief that somehow or another tonight's program may include some dealing with evil minded people and probably the cutting off of some hands, or maybe if not hands, the very likelihood that
Yeah, I
not,
understand.
not I doing the cutting of the hands, by the way. I mean, let me not be presumptuous enough to leave anybody with the idea or the impression that I'm making
Yeah,
claims.
yeah, you're. God, they're
I,
coming for you, Leonard. They're coming for you.
I raise my hand, But seriously speaking, is baffling me right now that after all the ills and the ill stuff that our current administration of the country has been perpetrating on the society with total disregards for the constitution of the country, the laws of the country, goodwill on behalf of the people of the country, which is what they swear allegiance to do, that all of a sudden, well, I would say most of the elected officials, they're coming out and now declaring that they, they, they're, they're saying, okay, mea culpa, or they're taking the blame for some of the things. Normally, leaders don't take blame for failures or shortcomings. But at least in this instance, even though I still doubt their sincerity, by the way, because when you're dealing with politicians, you have to always have a grain of salt available to you, you know, when you're dealing with politicians, because
Can I say
you know,
something on that, Leonard?
yes,
Public
sir, please,
public pressure. Public pressure.
brought them to their knees or brought them to a point of reality where because they have acknowledged it in their own words during the course of the last week, you know, most of them that spoke to the issues that people were complaining about were saying, after all, they put the cart before the horse. Even the prime minister, that is his words, had said that, and they're hoping to go back now and put the horse in front, hoping that they will achieve the same objective. And I mean, that's the kind of rascals that we're dealing with. They see their failures, they
Turn it
confess
around.
their
Yeah.
failures, they ask for forgiveness, they turn around, and they're still telling us
Hey, Leonard, it's called
those guys.
hey, Leonard, it's called anti-clockwise. Go
It's
back to
just
the same
crazy.
point, but they just go the
But,
other
not,
way.
but the reading for tonight was so appropriate, in terms of what these people are doing and what the reading is stipulating. That is that there will be people who are going to do right, and there are people who are going to do wrong. And to those who do right, they will be blessed. And to those who do wrong, their hands will be cut off. Well, I'm not too sure, like I said, about the cutting off of the hand in this instance, because I'm not volunteering to go and do the cutting of the hand. But I'm definitely volunteering to do the cutting of the verses, in terms of bringing them to the attention of the public, and hopefully that the public will do their job, because you can't save the people from the people, or you can't save some people from the people, but the people can save themselves if they are at least adequately informed. And that is the agenda of our platform. That is to bring as much information to the Belizean people at home and abroad in regards to what ails us and our country. I yield back, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
allowing me that opportunity.
Thank you, Leonard.
You're welcome, sir.
And I am not a lover of some media house. You know that, right? We've been together, on different platforms, and you know how I speak about some media house and what I think about them.
Yes, sir.
But there's this one guy. We are friends from, I won't say friends that are everyday, babe, but we know each other. Jules.
Uh-huh.
I applaud that guy, for the courage he had to, the courage lately. I don't know how and why he picked up this sudden, courage to actually stand up and do right and say right and tell them about the wrong things, tell them about the things that they had done wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very voiceful in the real sense of an informative media,
Mm-hmm.
right? No, no, no. Other kisopan, other friend will come from a show, and yeah, I know I said this and say that, and you do me so and you do me so, and that's how they do it, right? Ask me this kind of question because right. Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
you got the PUP media and you got the UDP media and a whole lot bunch of crap like that, right? But this guy, for some reason, I know one, he's not aspiring for any political office,
Which is the good
um,
which is the good part.
which is the good part, right? Because then I would have said otherwise. But
And-
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
no, 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 no. I'm
But
sorry.
Leonard, my hat goes off to that guy, okay? And like I say,
Big respect, sir. Big
yes,
respect.
yes. And I think you had said that too. You along that line that you give him his
Kudos.
dues, right?
Sir. Sir.
Um, another I'm not going. I'm not because that's my cousin, um, Pastor Louis Wade,
Plus
right?
TV. Can I
Plus
call
TV.
can I call the names?
Yes, sure, sir, sure, right?
No, go ahead.
Um,
You're doing
he
it.
have always stand up for nation and people,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, um, and I say this publicly. People might think he's a UDP or a PUP, and who knows what the gentleman stands for? Who knows who he vote for? I for sure don't know, but some people label him, you know. So, and he has a long run-ins with PUP and UDP, right? In the past,
He's part of the independent media who subscribes to and ascribes to Christianity as their base of preference. So on that point, I think
yeah. And
I'll yield back.
and in a whole, not to big up, most, not my family, most, that name Wade,
Uh-huh.
we stand up for righteous. Most Wades that I know stand up
Mhm.
for righteous, and they are not afraid to call a spade, right? Because that's the only way. That is the only way. You cannot call a spade a shovel. You will be sucking up bath water if you say a spade is a shovel, which a lot of people does to suit whatever their agenda is. As for
Mhm.
me, no one could ever come and tell me, well, Mr. Wade, can you please say that a spade is a shovel? I would never, never say that. Never.
Mr.
Right?
Chairman, because you said that just now, can I
Yes,
say
sir.
something? I mean, joke, right? I'd laugh even before I tried to bring out the joke. But I remember one time while I was at school, at technical,
Mhm.
we had an English teacher, right?
Uh-huh.
Uh, if I call his name, you will probably know him, but I won't call his name.
Yes.
Anyhow, so he used to teach us English. And in our class, we were in, at that time, I was in Farm 1B.
Yes, sir.
And when I first went to technical and they put me in Farm 1B, I thought that was because of the way the students then behave, I thought the B used to mean bad people or bad boys. No,
Yes, yes, yes,
not
yes.
not the joke was though that one time the teacher was teaching us was telling us about something, and the word bag came up. So I asked the teacher, "Sir, can you have a bag of bag or a bag of bag?" The man chased me out his classroom.
I would too. I got to, I got to. You didn't get
Yeah.
too smart, man. You didn't get too smart for the teacher. No, 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 no,
At
no.
that time, I was thinking about, okay, well, I try to make one joke, right? But I don't
Yes,
realize
sir.
that the man I carried that far.
Yes, sir.
I had to
Yes, sir.
try mix up the Creole and the English together because I mean, with a Creole, I would talk half English.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
had to
sir.
try to explain to the man that yes, sir, there's such a thing as a bag of bag and a bag of bag. Because you could have one crocus bag of paper bag. You could have a paper bag of crocus bag. The man chased me with a class. Anyway, it's just a joke. I just had to give
Yeah,
that out
that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, yeah,
lighten up
yeah.
the year because I know
Yes,
later
sir.
on I get kind of heaviness. And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
thank you for letting me indulge in that. Every time I remember that thing when
Yeah, but
a big a
but
bag.
Leonard, let's get down to the meat of this our program.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
tonight. Leonard, and my people both at home, there's a lot of things going on in our country. For those who have ears, they have heard. For those who have eyes, they have seen.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who choose to turn a deaf ear, so be it. That's their prerogative. For those who choose to not to see, although they are looking at it, but they haven't seen it, that's a matter
Well,
for you too.
sir, that's what they told us about the Budna tapes. They didn't
Oh
see it,
yeah, see,
even though
I'm
they, they
just
all
saying.
they all know what's on it.
That's what I'm
None
saying,
of them
right?
didn't see it.
And truth, Leonard, truth, yeah, that's truth, right? You
Uh,
know.
the
And
audacity.
as for we here, we three on this program, we do not turn a deaf ear, we do not signal a blind eye.
Mm-hmm.
We are not blind. At least, thanks to the Almighty that He gives us a ear to hear and He gives us an eye to see. Right? Um, we
And
have been,
we pray that He grants us the words to speak as well,
yes,
because
sir, yes, sir. Um, and we have been seeing a pattern, and then we have seen patterns of previous government. We see their trajectory, we see their agenda, and at the end of the day, we see their outcome.
mm-hmm.
Right? Same here now. We have seen this People's United Party government. We have seen their behavior. We have seen how they beg the nation of Belize to put them in that seat, because if you put them in that seat, they will do better
Mm-hmm.
than the evil that the other ones are doing. I'm saying in their own words, because these other ones, the UDP, they are evil. So
Mm-hmm.
give us that chance, because we are angels, we are nice people, and we will do right by you. Because
Mm-hmm.
look what they want to do, and then they march with them, and they, oh yes, and all the bad things comes out of their mouth that the other ones are doing, and the good things that they will do, and the rightful things to do, if the nation gives them that chance. The nation gave them that chance, and what are we witnessing? And this is going into their second. Are we kunumunu or something? Are we? Uh, is the Belizean public, still has a lot of licking to take? Licking, I mean, hard times to take. I asked myself, right? So I will wait and see, Leonard, in the next election again, the the mode of the Belizean people. If they haven't gotten enough, well, then I will say, well, Leonard, they haven't gotten enough. They want more, right? We see this People's United Party. We see their actions, right? We see the deals that these people make, Leonard, and we see the blatant corruption. And they say, yeah, that's not corruption. And the US to tell them, the bad people who need to shape up human rights violation and all the
Mm-hmm.
other bad things that the US State Department publicly,
Mm-hmm.
right, publicly states to the Belizean government, UDP government, PUP government. As I say, they do blatant misconduct, blatant, you could name it. So the same people, say, the wrong man, need to straighten up on yourself, but yet they still not get it. They keep doing bad things and bad things because the people let them do it. And then we here on this program says that, the unions have the power and the people have the power to bring any government that you elect to do the right thing, and you elect them to do and they are not. You have the power to denounce them, bring them to their knees. But we see time and time and time the actions of the union, right? We see it publicly, they are displaying. I personally have always said there are UDP unionists and PUP unionists. We see how they operate. Other people might see different, right? We see the things that these people do, right? They sell out, you know, our utilities owned by the people. Sell
Mm-hmm.
out. The People's United Party, Leonard, have a track record of doing that. And they continue to do it until the people elect them to do and elect them again, elect them. Then when there is nothing left, then they will happy and jump to joy when there is nothing else, nothing else left. Right? So the last item we're left to say, make we do good on it. Make one good deal on it so we could level off and we could capitalize. Not the people, but these crooks. Right? So I am glad to see that I have said on previous shows that the bacon is burning.
Mm-hmm.
It's frying, but it's burning. So now we see the burnt bacon now. It came to fruition now. You see, publicly the bacon has burned. But all the while when the bacon was on the fire and getting to that point,
Mm-hmm.
you see the amount of them, Leonard, that was whipped, right?
Oh, shucks. Um,
That in Mr. Greg. Oh, yes, Mr. Morrison.
Morrison.
Good night,
Uh,
sir.
I see Greg is in the background, but he will
And
bring
Greg.
himself on when he's
Yes,
ready.
yes. I
Good
had
night, Mr.
stated
Morrison.
earlier, yes, I had stated earlier on the opening that you might brace us tonight, and thank you for, bracing us again tonight. Thank you very much, sir. You have a little something to say before, thank you. I think your mic is off. Yeah.
Good evening, and thank you, gentlemen, very much for letting me join your program. I think this is 402. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
402, sir.
Good
Yes.
evening, Mr. Morrison, and
Yes.
thank you again
Thank,
for gracing
thank you
us, sir.
very much. Um, I'm always thinking about what you were saying there about the role of government and how they have abused the people, and um, we, we I guess we need to recognize U.S. State Department is thinking and how they are paying attention to what's going on. But we also need to be cognizant that we need to take care of our affairs internally and not let too many hands interfere in our internal affairs. And um, that's my approach and thinking on this type of stuff. And so while we are cognizant and mindful of what their what their concerns are, it is up to us as Belizeans to make sure that we in fact hold our government accountable, because other government and other
Something in
countries
the
will hold
background
them.
there. You want to mute your mic there a little bit there, right? That. Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Morrison. Then I go
Yeah,
to Roody.
other countries and government will hold them accountable to the principles that they want and emphasize for themselves. So their action is going to be pretty much a selfish sort of reach.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to make sure that when we hold them accountable, it is for the welfare of our nation and of our people. So while I could appreciate what is going on, and I think we had also a conversation some time ago when the Prime Minister had met with the Charge d'Affaires of the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
and there were some comments as to whether the minister that was in charge of the free zone was in fact being somehow put on notice to the prime minister by the U.S. government or charge affair department. So all these things are just telling us that things are steaming and boiling and things are going on, and so we need to make sure that our government and our people hold them accountable. And we need to stop just be bending on issues in terms of my
National
political
interest.
party. My political party. It needs to be circled around our national interests, the civil rights of our citizens, and the constitutional upkeep of
Yeah.
what we stand for and what's enshrined as part of our constitution. So with that, I yield back.
Thank you. Thank you. And then again, I want to welcome Mr. Gregory Brackett, our next senior panelist. And I know he was in the back queuing up, as I've always said, he's the man that hold them, hold them by their teeth and say, yeah, look, you said it, come from your own mouth. So thank you, Greg, for always show and tell to the public. Thank you very much. Welcome to our 402 edition. Greg, welcome, my brother. Glad to
Thank you,
see you.
Mr. Chairman. Good night to you, gentlemen. It's
Good
always
night,
a pleasure
good night, sir.
sitting virtually with you guys, having great discussions about Belizean affairs and trying to educate our people at home and abroad. With that said, I want to go back to you, Mr. Chairman. But before I do, Mr. Morrison, with all due respect, sir, I heard your concern and what you said about what is happening. And I want to say that because the present government has gone to the far left and using any means necessary, including authoritarian rule, and where the people of Belize voices has been shut down by the government, international pressure must always be a second option to hold any government accountable. I go back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Greg. You want to say something, Leonard,
Yes,
before
sir.
I
On the
see?
same
Then we
points,
have a
on,
discussion.
on, on the same points that Greg just alluded to, and Mr.
Which
Morrison,
Greg, Mr. Morrison, Greg,
uh,
or Greg? Which one? Greg, Greg.
Mr. Greg Brackett.
Okay.
just
Last.
spoke just
Okay.
now and
Uh-huh.
alluded to, and
Uh-huh.
Mr. Morrison, who had previously alluded to the same point but from a different perspective. I want to add my little piece to that, if you
Yes,
permit,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
And my
That's
little
what we're
piece,
here for,
yeah,
Leonard. We
is that,
discuss, we share our
okay.
views.
My little piece goes like this. It is very important for us to be able to maintain some modicum or some kind of means of exercising our own independence within the limits of our own constitution and the rights of the people to be self-governing. But it is also critically important that we don't have people who we entrust our governance prerogatives to by electing them, that the very same people would turn around and betray us and use those powers that we vest in them against our interests and the interests of the country. So there's a canard at that point, that we have to accept. We elect these people, so rightfully so, they're managing our governance on our behalf, or should be, by the way. And the complaint currently is that they're not. And if we have international organizations, because our local government power plays us, cuts deals behind our back, and sometimes even do things in our face, as in the case of the BTL situation right now. And then we have foreign people who have their agencies running around Belize. You have like each and every embassy that we have in Belize, or any consulate that we have in Belize, have what you call attachés, individuals who are responsible for looking after that particular embassy's country interests.
Interesting.
And sometimes what they do is, if our interest in the country doesn't align with their interests from abroad, they use their leverages that they maintain with us to suborn our country and the powers and authority and even the constitution of our country by putting pressure on these locally elected officials, who then turn around and betray us, like I said earlier. Sometimes they operate as if they are captured agents of these foreign entities. And that's where I personally feel like they fall afoul of our interests. They put the interests of the powerful people who can suborn them one way or another for whatever reason above the interests of the local Belizeans who elect them to serve the
Sad.
country of
Sad.
Belize and the Belizean people. So, for all intents and purposes, when the attaché called in the Prime Minister the other day and was pointing out certain things to him, the Prime Minister came out and denied what the discussion was about. And the attaché came out and said they couldn't speak to those issues, but yet verbalized exactly what the issues were after having said that they couldn't speak to those issues. Now make it make sense. We out here knew that there was a problem or an issue in relations to how the minister responsible for the free zones was allowing certain things to happen in the free zone, and that the free zone was being captured and being run mostly on behalf of, certain people. We all know who those certain people were in terms of name and organization and all kind of other stuff, and their comportment, and all the shooting and other stuff that was going on there, and what was alleged that, contrabands and all kind of other, we all, those of us who are paying attention, by the way, know why is it that Minister Mai got thrown off the 2-foot jackass. Okay? We all know why. And they're going to come and tell us they don't know why. Nobody knows why, according to them. The bottom line is that we cannot have our country being suborned by anybody, don't care how more powerful they are than us. Because then what's the purpose of being independent? If you are going to get used like Konomun, or if you are going to become a vassal state and lose your independence to a more powerful entity just because they are more powerful. I don't subscribe to that. I have a problem with that. And then when the leader of our country is going to come and tell us he don't know, and nobody's supposed to know because he don't know, and we damn well know what the hell went on and how the process happened. He's taking us all for a bunch of fools. In other words, he's willing to bend over backwards because of the other powers that suborn him or put him in check or on notice. And then he's going to come and lie to us as if we're not supposed to know what he's supposed to know. He's managing the country on our behalf. All the man has to do is square with us. Because at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, if we both won't be up the creek, all of us compare consequences. Not just him or his buddies or the dealers they want to deal with or whatever other scenarios. It's the country. We don't have a means of being able to deal with the kind of situation that we are being forced to run.
Yes,
So
so
we
true on
cannot
that.
be blamed, or we should not be blamed. They're a bigger country than us that cannot handle that situation. We don't have the resource. We don't have the technical knowledge. We don't have the people them in place. The one them that we have in place are all suborned from foreign interests and foreign money schemes. I yield back, so I'll have a lot more
Thank
to
you,
talk.
thank you, thank you for that input there.
It's not a one-man show, so I'll just
Yes,
yield.
thank you. Thank you. Lately, you know, lately we see Mr. Mr. Morrison and Greg and Leonard. Mute your mic there a little bit, Greg. So let me. Then I will. Yeah, thank you. Lately, guys, we been seeing the actions of our leaders, how they shift from one narrative to the next narrative. The one they shift from is Buddha, and we see how that played out. First was the Portico deal. We see how that narrative played out. That war, a port war. I call it the port war, involving the Lord himself. And then the Buddha, how they shift from that, and then the Buddha situation. Then they shift from, how they swipe off the Portico, and then they're trying to shove the Buddha thing under the rug, right? And now because they're coming with new things now, new things happening, right? Now the people of Belize now should be glad because a new transportation system, and you see the CEO of transport, how good it is going to be, and all the nice things. But sadly, the people don't know where to catch them yet. What is yet to come? So, and all these poor little bus owners and thing, we'll see how that play out. And then now you see that big shenanigans with the unions. I've always says, we see how they behave. We see it plays out every time. Past and present government, we see how the unions plays out, right? And we see the outcome, not good outcome, because what they had lobbied for had never been met. And then another item come and they lobby again and never be. So they are part of the problem. In my personal view, now you see this big busing from the entire country, bus to Belmopan, and PUP party, PUP party.
National Bus Service, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Then you see how right now they wipe off, they try to dazzle the people, and hey, support the PUP again. Another election is coming, guys. So their priority has never been truthful to the Belizean people, always hiding something until one of these days, what's under the rug, will either start to stink or somebody will go and sweep it out. And then, yes. So for me right now, I think that they are in a election mode because in the towns and villages and things, they are doing work, right? Towns and city, they are doing work. And my people, these are all things to dazzle your eyes again, right? It's not new. And then my people, there's a 13 point something percent raise on your stinking water. That's for me. I'm not ashamed to say it stinks, right? The water that the nation of Belize consume, it stinks and it's infested. I have tested myself, right? So that's why I call it that. They could come with another name to me. And then my people, don't forget your electricity rate has raised. And you know, I'm my heart goes out to the poor and the elder, and because we are back to the dry season again. How much of us are dependent on burning electricity? So I just want to remind the nation, that is what the poor people will have to meet. By your love, PUP. By your love, because they love you. They love you to the max, right? So, and I say this because that's what they say. And now you see again the BTL saga, right? How sudden now some of the ones them that was on that bandwagon, they're suddenly shifting. They're saying no, right? Because the pressure then and people. But all of a sudden, if the people under pressure, that was surely gonna be a done deal. You hear Mr. Hyde now, he come up as the good black representative, black Belizean. My brother, it's shortcoming. You should have whatever you said on that podium a couple days ago, few days ago, you should have said that from the onset. As you say, you love your people, you love your Belizean people, and you have always been a lover of your people, right? How could you have been a part of that then? Because the bacon wasn't burning. But since the damn bacon has been burning now, all of a sudden you could come publicly now because everybody denounced it. So you could ride along. Man, how stupid that look. But anyway, that's what I got to say on that. Greg, take it away. Those are items that we would like to touch on again and keep it going. Greg?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to say this, right? To get into those subject matter that you have been speaking about just now. The present government over the years has always been about nationalization and privatization.
Privatization.
And recently, they have been taking it to a new level. And I will tell you why I am saying this. Because the Prime Minister has went as far as using this method and using eminent domain to take away state bank from a private owner, taking away private property for a commercial company.
Sad.
And they continue to do it. And I said it would not fly. Even though they went to court and you can see what happened. You cannot take private property under eminent domain and claim it to be for the people when that property will be used commercially. It cannot work. And they continue, Mr. Chairman, They went to the port of Danriga and they did the same thing. And they came to BTL. The same thing, private public. Even though they knew that the Telecommunication Act forbids that acquisition, they try anyway, all types of methods to bypass it. And you know what? I knew they wouldn't succeed. Now you spoke about the Deputy Prime Minister and what was said at the PNC meeting on Sunday that we had in Belmopan. And you know what I thought about that? Damage control to the highest level. Whenever they
Amen
need
to
damage
that.
control, he's the one who
Yes.
steps forward to
Yeah.
try to accomplish it.
Yeah.
And it's
True.
not only him.
True on that.
It's not only him, but let's go to the tape and hear it.
Fiduciary duty, we've been hearing the word a lot on the news, but what it basically means is maximizing value for shareholders, getting the highest ethical return on investment for them. And the Prime Minister has been the lead proponent.
When the members of the board of directors of BTL meet, that then they can make a decision based on, because they do have a fiduciary responsibility to BTL to do what they believe is in the best interest of BTL, and that's, I think, important for us to know. I believe that Social Security and the board members are going to do their fiduciary responsibility to Social Security for those that represent, and the board of directors to BTL. I think we should allow BTL to do a business decision. They need to do what they believe is in the best interest, and the board members have a fiduciary responsibility to BTL. And if they believe that the decision that BTL is making is a good one, they should support it.
You're looking at the noise in the market. We are focused on the performance of this company because we have a fiduciary responsibility for the performance of this company.
But according to the man who holds the second highest office in the land, forget the fiduciary. That's the noise. As they say, the voice of the people is the voice of God.
So that the technical people from BTL can go all across this country, go to the schools, go to UB, go to the community centers all across the country and talk to the people in our cordial way, in our honest way, in our open way, in our friendly way, and take their time doing it with no gun and nobody head. Take their time, one consultation at a time. And if after a couple months of consultation, the people not there with it, then BTL will have to take a chill pill, you know. They will have to take a chill pill. They will have to shelf it. Because ultimately, it's the people of Belize who owns the company. It's not Mr. Lizaraga. It's not the board of BTL. It's the people of Belize. So if any acquisition is supposed to take place, the people of Belize have to bless it.
And there you go, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
But I want to add to this. These things that are being looked at from foreign people, it's not that we in Belize do not know about them. The Prime Minister went to the house. He got a $1 million to help in the north for cartels. I believe that was only a front because business was still going on. Shooting was going on. So I believe that was a front until the incident came up with Mr. Mike. The same way, like Porta Danriga was a front with the lender who was going to do it except he get caught up. And then here we go again. The Prime Minister knowing full well which learned men within his administration knew there is a Telecommunication Act that is enshrined in the Constitution. The past Prime Minister mentioned it to him when he was the leader of the opposition and told him what he would try to do. So it is not that they did not know, but as was mentioned, he wanted to use authoritarian rule, which is executive power, to accomplish whatever he wants. I go back to you,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Morrison, you know, you followed you with us here on that BTL saga and you see where it's at on that where it ends up on that party that was on Sunday. And he was just one of the speakers on that, on that issue. But there are a couple of others that had. But what your take on that there on that tape there? Based on all what you know about the BTL saga, Mr. Morrison.
Well, yes, thank you very much, Mr. Wade. I am glad that Cardell finally came around. We don't know why he was not responsive in the early part of the call to arms about what was going on. In fact, he seemed like he was firmly in the prime minister's corner in terms of um, wanting the deal to go forward. But he came to the party late. But you know what? I'm glad he did come around, um, and that he has now spoken up. I can't imagine why he was so timid in making his voice known and his views known much earlier. And
I'm not to cut you across, Mr. Morrison. I think it was 3 months. 2 months, 2 months, not 2 months with
yeah,
that.
too
Yeah,
much,
yeah, something
too
like
much,
that. Yeah.
too much. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
Go ahead,
so
sir.
I'm so I'm glad he finally at the convention there spoke up about it and made it with some definition and clarity that it is the people's company, that the people and the shareholders and the citizens of Belize will be the ones that make the decisions. And I've always said that I believe the chairman of BTL failed the country. He failed his fiduciary responsibility. He failed um, the board at BTL when he did not try to ascertain and get for the shareholders a fair and declared and transparent negotiation and value for the purchase, and then sort of locking it in and saying that we are going to make the decision all alone here was just total miscarriage, and I'm glad he's brought into reckoning for that. I do believe though that he has drifted so far away from the normalcy and the responsibility that he should tender his resignation. I keep talking because
I feel the same way too, Mr. Morrison.
yes sir, I
I said
honestly
that.
believe that
I said that before.
his
When
failure was so.
when we first discussed this matter, that was my conclusion that he should have been fired.
Yeah. Well,
Go ahead, Mr.
yeah.
Morrison.
His failure has been so gross and in every aspect. I know he was carrying out the dealings and the wishes of his prime minister, so I don't see a hell chance that he'd be fired, Mr. Brackett.
Yes,
But
sir. I'm
but
aware
I
of that
think
too.
in decency and in recognition, because he was willing to recuse himself, I think he should step it up farther, not only recuse himself, but because of his failure to just quit the board and return it to some sober hands that will in fact be looking out for in fact the fiduciary responsibility of the board. I'm 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 drawn to a conversation that I heard on the news also this evening about Minister Mala talking about the stretch that politicians are going through. But they sort of kind of twisted and threw something out there that politics is so tough. Politics, I believe, is not that tough if government
You're
organizes
right.
itself to carry out its responsibility. If they remove the level of corruption that we see within the ministers' ranks, they remove the level of corruption we see within the public services ranks, they remove the level of corruption that will return a sense of fairness and a sense of balance so that the limited resources our country does have will in fact be able to serve the welfare and well-being of the people. There are 75 people that he had to talk to that day because government is not working. The organs and the ministries are not functioning to the best that they can to serve the nation's and the individual citizens' interests. If government is put in a manner that it works, there'll be less of those calls for handout and gifts and give me and all that because people will have jobs, people will have opportunities, and and we remove that level of corruption, we will see a functioning government, we'll see a prosperous people, and the role that they think they ought to be playing of just handing out favors, giving gifts, and see that as the burden and responsibility of government would come to an end or would lessen considerably. So with that, I yield back to this.
Thank you, man. Well said there, Mr. Morrison. Well said because it's obvious. Well said. Thank you, Leonard. Go ahead.
Uh, Thank you very much for your answer. Um, when we first discussed this matter of the BTL acquisition of the smart assets, at least that's what we thought we were discussing, what they were bringing forward. When that matter first came up, the way it was brought out and the way we got to know what was behind the scenes, I decided right there and then that it was only fair for that gentleman to be fired, first and foremost, because he came out with an agenda to lie to the Belizean public. That is to say that they had the rights within the board meeting to determine whether they will cut that deal or not, even without having done any due diligence and without having gotten any information to determine that they were acting in a fiduciary way on our behalf, us being the owners of the shares. They were not acting on our behalf. They were acting on a behind the scene backroom deal that was set up to just be voted on. And had that vote been carried forward, we would not be discussing that same matter the way we're now discussing it, because we would not have known get to know as much as we got to know after hauling out as many toots as we had to. That's how come today the public is that much more aware of what's going on behind the scene.
That's true.
Had Miss Nisbet, who I think is supposed to be one of the main champions in terms of the resistance that came up, hadn't volunteered herself to be the sacrificial lamb, to give up her plush job at the Social Security Administration and her job as a board member of the BTL. You know, had she just been quiet and just went along with the program as was expected of her, everything would have worked out and we would not have been any more the wiser. It is my belief that because they started out nefariously on the wrong foot and trying to rob us with our eyes wide open because we were supposed to trust them as much as we supposed to trust them, having granted them the privilege to serve on those boards, and they failed us so miserably, so outrageously at that, because these people are not ignorant people or people who should not have known what the hell was going on behind the scene or what they were being asked to do. Okay, I don't subscribe to the idea that, you know, I mean, there were people who were, they are smart people, basically, for all intents and purposes. And they all knew what was right and what was wrong. And some of them decided to just play the fool and pretend like, well, nothing was wrong, and just try to ram this thing through until they came up against the resistance that they had. Now they're complaining about the resistance that they had. The Prime Minister is now trying to put this stuff on hold for a little while so the resistance, blows over like a little breeze. Everybody is complaining. Everybody is complaining now. At least the majority of the members of cabinet are the ones now complaining, saying that the deal should not have been done that way, and that there are other ways that it could have been done, and blah blah blah. At the end of the day, they want the deal to be done, as the Prime Minister said. Let the two private companies. That's how he says it. He didn't say the private company of Smart to negotiate with our public company of BTL, which is how he should have said it. Regardless of the fact that you have a few private owners or ownership in BTL, which is a small minority share compared to the amount of shares that the government have 51%, and Social Security on our behalf with our Social Security money as investment has another 38%. So they should have been, from the get-go, they should have been honest with us. They should have leveled with us. They should have done their due diligence. And then we, the people out here, would not have realized that there were a bunch of scumbags. And then, as far as I'm concerned currently, I don't think that they should be embarking on going ahead with any negotiations because now we know enough to know that the deal does not benefit us and was not intended to benefit us. Okay? We now know enough to be able to arrive, at least I think I know enough to arrive at that conclusion, even though I'm not the whole, population. But on behalf of the population of my country and my people, I will stand up on the block and holler to high heaven that they were trying to chance us, and we shouldn't allow them to chance us. And we won't even need them on the damn board anymore. Get some new members, even though the new members would probably carry out the same stuff. But at the end of the day, those who have failed, we need accountability. They have shown what they're about. We don't need them to continue negotiating this issue. As a matter of fact, we don't need to buy this particular company, as we have found out so far. There's nothing that they can bring to the table to enhance us, other than the government contracts that were stolen from us by the Belizean government itself and given to them. Why the hell should we have to buy that back now? No, those people will come back to us when Smart go defunct. Or they could sell Smart to whoever else want to buy it and let Smart continue competing. But we don't need to get involved in their stuff or try to rescue them. The hell with that. We need to position ourselves for the near future, which is to compete with other more effective and more modernized systems. Are you back, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Greg. Leonard, before I go to you, Greg, I like to say this, that the back to the tape that you played for us there, Greg. That gentleman there, Mr. Hyde. They always use that guy, right? When the bacon start burning, let's put it that way, right? They use him to, because you see how they used him, with the teachers when they, right? Okay, that's just one instance. You see how they use them, Greg and Leonard and Mr. Morrison, for the stevedores. That's the same guy they use, Mr. Morrison, remember? They used him, right? So I just show that, the nasty ways that these people, run our governing system, run our country. Is that the right way to do it? And guys, I think that it's high noon that this man Johnny Briseño, stop lying to the Belizean people, and we keep uncover all the webs, all the spiders of his lies all the time. It comes to fruition that what you have said, Mr. Man, it's a lie. What does this man care, guys? This man don't give a hoot, right? And he keep doing it repetitiously, right? I can't see for the hell of it how we come up with how this nation ends up with people like that guy, that one guy, and many others, right? To be in control of our country, of every little strings that pulls from our countries. He's behind those strings, right? And sadly, to see that, you talk about the acquisitions, Greg, right? How he and his attorneys and his hinch are criminals sit in a room and say, hey, let's use this word public. Because people know it. They're stupid. They don't know what we want to do with this word. Right? So let's use with the acquire this thing for the public. Right? Talking about the Portico deal and that port thing. Right? And that fly with them, guys. That happened. So it's a habitual practice now that they are doing now, with the acquire this, which in fact we here know damn well that the public has nothing to gain, nothing to gain from the word public that they had used to gain their riches, to do their criminal acts in the name of the public. So sad. And then, let us not forget the public, private. Who are these private people? Never know. You would have to dig long and hard to find out the true criminals behind these that are behind the name private. And they are right amongst us, They are sitting in the house. We elect them. Those suckers study how to, when they are no more, that thing that they had used for private, their name is there. Monsieur, I had a shareholder this and shareholder that. See? Did the people know that? Hell no. He fly with the word public, and they continue to do it. So sad. That's a new catch there, guys. So for the Belizean people, back to you, Greg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It goes beyond that, sir, and people at home and abroad. As I said before, whenever this government or this party get into power, this is what they do. They set up these private, public, public, private to fool the people. But what it is what I call a dead race for people within their party to end up with long-term contracts so that if a government even change, the private part of the private public is still there and they keep collecting.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing it all over. And I'm going to prove it again tonight. Because in Belizean affairs, we always show and tell.
Mr. Brackett?
Okay, before you push the tape, let's say what Leonard got to say. Go ahead.
One point, as regards to what you just stipulated about how the PUP party works, it is because of the same reason why they got kicked out of office on their previous administration under the Musa. They privatized all government assets. They kept some for themselves and sold some to so-called private to raise funds because the government was hard for cash. They had a cash flow problem. They got kicked out of office. They come back in office and they say they're coming back now with a changed mind. They're going to do things differently, only to end up with the same situation. Right now, as they are, when they were talking on Sunday and complaining about they were so well off earlier in this administration, and within a few months' time, they're finding out that the majority of the people in the country are against them because of the same behavior. Just hustlers. They don't regard any, they don't, make a stop because
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Greg. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. As you were saying, my good cousin, back in the Musa term as Prime Minister, Social Security lost millions of dollars that they invested in a private company called Sunshine Holdings. They
As well
never
as
did
DSP.
get back that money.
And they
The
broke
10
DFC.
million ended up being to 30 million.
Mhm.
And here we go again. The same PUP government back at it again because whenever politics is involved with these situations, the lender turns to lose its assets. But as I said, Mr. Chairman, I want to show you, gentlemen, and the people at home and abroad, exactly what I am speaking about when I say this is what they do, their MO. I want to go to the tape first to listen to what Mr. Bacon had said.
Two things. This is a private company, so the decisions that we make here not necessarily need public consultations, but we will have public.
The media of the first order.
Because I want you, the people at home and abroad, to listen to this now. The new first company, private, public. I want you to listen to what the CEO had to say. Listen to it.
I foresee that some of them might not be able to meet the conditions going forward. But them not meeting the conditions is not our business. They don't meet the conditions, then they will feel what the law says that they must happen to them. It's as simple as that. We have to improve the standard. We cannot remain the way we are currently. No.
But has there been the establishment of an executive team? Who heads the company? The executive hierarchy that follows thereafter?
The company has been formed. At this point, it has one director. The subscriptions are being perfected for the operators to sign on to, which we are scheduling for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week, so that by early next week, there can be, we're aiming for a general meeting on the 27th, which is next Friday. At that general meeting, the directors of the board will be selected by the members, the general members, and that board with its chair.
There you go. They have turned the bus company where bus owners was running it privately by their own bus corporation into a public-private, got the government involved and other bodies. And you heard what the CEO said. The same thing is happening with that. And you know what? It falls under national security.
Mr. Brackett, what he also said is that they don't care if the people don't meet the threshold. They will just suffer the consequence of what the law will prescribe for them to suffer.
Exactly why I'm paying the tape.
But wait. Listen to the words that the man they use.
Hold on, Leonard. Let him. I'll come to you right now. Go ahead, Greg. I'll come to you, Leonard.
And I am saying it to spill it out there because the law says, the supreme law, everybody has the right to work. Everybody has the right to do any trade they want. So, by his word, he's saying, if you're not with us, then you won't be able to run your bus. None at all. It's
Simple as
already
that.
an African institution.
Thank you.
So
Thank you,
this
Greg.
is what these
Power is
people are
drunk.
doing.
Power is drunk.
The chairman and
Crazy.
people at home and abroad. It does not stop there. It goes on to the capital city. Listen to this.
We have developed and are scheduled to start testing an Uber-style taxi service for Belmopan, where only registered taxis would be listed. It would also be. It was also designed with a Belizean culture touch, where the Belizean residents can still have their 4 or 5 preferred taxi operators that would always be their first hit if they are already occupied or with certain runs. It will inform them what their closest available time would be, so they decide if they wait for their specific people or are just going with the closest taxi man. The system will generate the fee based on distance. We are trying to do it also where it would have a share option, because some people don't mind sharing a taxi when they're on a run.
I want to stop it right there again.
Honorable
Taking
Smith.
away from the private drivers. Here we go again. Another public-private
Great.
mindset.
It's all about cornering the market. It's about the big hustle for them. Cornering the market, put laws and rules in place that allows them to capture the business, set up rules that precludes some other people and violate the Constitution.
That's the showing that the tape that
Crazy.
you have, right, Greg, or you have another one?
No, I want to go back to you, but I want to say this. This is what happens when the people fall asleep. They are taking over everything that was privatized to the Belizean people. Now the taxis in Belmopan must be registered and run under that service. You see what I'm speaking about?
Yes, sir.
So they're doing it all over the country,
What?
and they will have shares. They
Okay.
are implementing the same public-private company.
Thank
I
you,
go
Greg.
back to you.
Thank you, Leonard. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think Mr. Morrison hasn't had a chance to win.
No,
so
I'll
sorry,
come to
but,
Mr. Murphy. You were talking when Greg was like you wanted to say something on what Greg
yes,
was
yes,
highlighting. Go ahead. No, I'll
but
go to Mr. Morrison. All right, I'll
go
to
ahead,
Mr.
sir. Go to
No,
Mr.
I'll
Morrison.
go to Mr. to you because you wanted to.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Okay, I'll make it short and quick.
Yeah.
In effect, what we are trying to say here on this panel, at least as far as Greg and myself are concerned in terms of what we are exposing, is that these jackals, it's not just today they try to corner whatever resource making organization exists. This is their MO. I know they're just getting a bit more crazier with it, more onerous with it, because they're now hiding behind the powers of governance. The PUP government have given the local city councils and town boards the opportunity to make laws. Of course, that thing, as I explained, I think the last time we were talking about it on this show, I don't remember that law having been passed. They brought it to the House, they discussed it, but it was never finally put through. And I think I heard the Prime Minister today mention the fact that the Belize Council was trying to raise some taxes anonymously, and he, the Prime Minister, is sure that they should not be doing that because it's not a real law yet. It has not been passed into law, just like what I had speculated on the previous show when we talked about it a few days ago. The matter was proposed to give them the power to make their own thing, but even within that, they have to abide by the rules. That is that if that law had come into pass, they would only have been able to raise up to 10% of the previous taxes or the rates. They cannot come up with no 700%, like what the Prime Minister was saying today. They shouldn't be doing that. But at the end of the day, the Prime Minister should not have been giving them those kind of authority either to be making any extra laws just because he don't want to give them their subvention. He's supposed to give them their subvention, but he wants to keep their subvention and let them raise their own taxes again. So they are double taxing the people. Everything is going sky high, and they are increasing the amount of taxation on the people. They are a bunch of scofflaws and they're operating like a bunch of mobsters, basically.
Thank you.
Are you back, sir?
Thank you, Leonard. Well said there, my brother. And plain to be seen for the people that have eyes and ears to hear and eyes to see what's really going on by these people, right? Who entrusted power to, right? And see how they use it and against who. Mr. Morrison, your turn there, my brother. Go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to concur with some of the comments earlier that we have perhaps one of the most lying prime ministers we have ever had. He's just a bold-faced, shameless liar in so many ways, and he just is so committed to ignore in many ways the wishes of the people until they step in and put their foot down. And the resistance of the people in many of these measures, we saw how they overrun the Belmopan Hospital land deal, but the resistance we're seeing is important, and it is important whether it's organized or unorganized. Every level of it holds them to be accountable. That's what we're seeing, and that's why I don't mind any politician coming to the party late and acknowledging that this is too much of a pill to swallow, because that's how you get actions, right? If things seem easy to push over at first sight, and that's their intent, they'll do it. But we hope that at some point, if they're accountable, that they will then become responsive. I think we owe a great deal of courage to Channel 7 and Jules Vasquez, who stuck on this issue and suffered a great deal of annoyance. I think at one point the Prime Minister even put out a press briefing on him,
and then had to take it back.
Yeah, calling many of his rights as a reporter into question, and then had to go back and said, "We're sorry and we won't do that again." Someone brought up briefly about the transportation board, and I wanted to say that what we look for is virtuousness, people of goodwill, people that will act with virtue in carrying out their obligation and responsibility to the people. And we can't, because of how Mr. Leonard likes to put it, these scoundrels operate, we can't go and destroy all our initiatives and laws and stuff to deal with this. How I see it is we do need improvements in transportation industry, and there is a cost I see to entry into a market, and so I personally don't see an issue that in improving the standards and such that some people will not be part of the market. And that's, if it's done, nothing yet, Mr. Brackett. If it is done properly, if it is done in transparent mode, if it is done legally and such, then I don't have a problem with changing the laws, and probably some of the participants in the current transportation market will not qualify. The reason I say that, the public deserves proper service, and the people of Belize are not getting good transportation service. Some of it is poor bus quality, some of it is careless behavior on the road, some of it is improper management and supervision by the transportation board, and all those are creating chaotic situation on the road, potentially dangerous and hazardous to the citizens. I've seen bus accidents. We have all witnessed the bus drivers racing down the road to get to the next stop. All these are issues that needs to be addressed, and we need to take care of this before a bus sideswipe another, flip over, and injure or kill many of our citizens. And so there is going to be a cost to bring this regime, bring this into control and into proper management and supervision. I'll give you all the chance, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you.
In doing those type of control and management, we're hoping that there's transparency and there's fairness in how these contracts are given and how people are made to have involvement. I know they talked about having a CEO or general manager for the already selected, but at this point they didn't issue a name, and we hope that there's within the participants, within those that, because apparently individual bus ownership had the right to select whether they wanted to join the association or the organization of Belize Transportation Authority, or however they name themselves, and they had that right. Some chose to. I think 65% of them chose to, and that means 35% of them chose not to participate. But still, they had to be held to a standard, and if their standard is not going to serve the well-being of the public, then they will have to exit the market one way or the other. And it may not be that it's government rules and stuff that does it. It may just be the cost and the competition in the market when people see that better service can be given to them and afforded. So yield back to you, Mr.
Thank you. You wanna go again, Leonard? Go ahead.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Yes,
Go
sir.
again. Go again.
Specifically on the last point that Mr. Morrison referred to, that is that the ones that don't want to join the so-called national transportation system or bus company, those who don't want to join, that they could lose their business by attrition, by not providing proper services. Under the Constitution, that would be correct. But under the Constitution, what was previously stipulated, that is that they can be driven out of business, is not correct, unacceptable, or tolerable. Because the Constitution specifically says that the government should not determine, or anybody of authority should determine, who works where and on what type of it's clearly stated in the Constitution. People have a right to work. And when you have a high-handed government coming in and taking over people's private business and determining how they want to run it under a semi, because whenever they go to this semi-private public control, the next step they're setting up is private sale of those assets. That's what the history of Belize has been such, from the Esquivel government before Esquivel government and the Price government. When they want to go to the IMF for loans or to any of these other bodies for loans, emergency loans, to continue taking care of the budget of the country, they have to provide these documentations. And then when they provide these documentations showing that the government own private assets, which according to the international body of money lending and banking systems, the government should dispose itself of any, not dispose itself, there's a anyhow. Let me not anyhow. You know, the bottom line is that the government should not have any kind of private assets available to it. They should sell their shares in those assets, and that's what happened with BTL. That's what happened with we have a history of that in Belize. And we have the Zabani family used to own a bus company, a national bus company. And the present minister of transportation is setting up this thing where eventually, with the assistance of the central government and the authority of lawmaking according to them, they will be able to make laws to dispossess people of their private way of earning their living. That should be left to the marketplace. And if people don't want to support those individuals, or if they're not providing good enough service, well, then the government could go ahead and make the national bus company with those who are willing to do what they're trying to do right now. But they have no right to force anybody else out of their business. It's my point of contention. And that's what they're trying to do with the muscle and the power of the government. You cannot allow that. That's intolerable.
Okay.
Let them fail on their own.
Authoritarian rule, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you.
I want to say, Mr. Wade, I think we will ask for more time.
I would like to ask the.
Where are we right now, sir?
We are at 1:36. Maybe we can do the 2 hours.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Mr. Wade.
Could I add something?
Sure, Mr. Morrison.
Yeah, I agree with what Mr. Brackett was saying, but I do believe that government has a responsibility to set up standards for probably the age of the vehicle that's on the road, the condition of the vehicle, and the inspection requirement. Those are all duties that's done by our transportation department. And we know for a fact that some of the buses that are on the road are very old and inadequate and unsafe. We see them broken down on the road many times. To base it on those principles, which are citizens sort of backing in terms of value, the value judgment on them is that they're protecting the welfare of the citizens. Is not a level of exclusion and selecting market winners and such. In any other way, it would be. But so if the choice is to have a competent, safe transportation system and fairly run and entry allowed to people, and that it is transparent in how it is structured, managed, owned, then I have no problem with it. I think it would be an improvement all across the board for the welfare of the country, for energy efficiency, and for the benefit of the citizens.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead,
I
Greg.
have an issue with that. While I understand what Mr. Morrison is saying, I disagree with it. I disagree because once you have a system public-private that will be financed by public funds, and you want to take that to open a company and bring in new buses, I believe those buses should be issued to each operator and let them run it. So why is it that you want to control the whole company under public-private, using funds from taxpayers and government and private entities, get the most out of it, and not the drivers, not the operators? And this is the issue I have. And the other issue to that is this: same as BTL, it is one of national interest. So why is it not going to the National Assembly so it can be tailored and discussed and the appropriate laws being passed to protect these bus operators? That is a major concern.
Thank you.
And I
Well
want to
said.
say this also, Mr. Chairman, before I go back to you. On the BTL acquisition, it is my belief that based on what the Americans had to say and the pressure coming down on our present government, I believe that deal is 100% dead. That is my belief. And to let the people at home and abroad hear it, I must go to the tape.
Go ahead.
And suddenly, of the 7 countries in Central America, one is an English-speaking country. It's Belize, small country. And now it's turning up on Washington's radar as a red flag, which is weird because all of these countries in the Western Hemisphere, being El Salvador, Honduras, Costa Rica, Venezuela, Argentina, all turning away from socialism and toward a more populist, right-of-center government. What's up with Belize?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think we forget that there's so many countries in the hemisphere. Some are very small, some fall under the radar. And unfortunately, sometimes the ones under the radar are where you see a lot of corruption, institutional corruption that exists at a granular level. So we've got issues down there related to government expropriation of assets. And those are things that the U.S. government takes really seriously, especially when it involves assets that could be national security threats. There's one particular case over a port. There's a cruise ship terminal called Stake Bank Island that the government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner. And the reason that that's worrisome is multiple things. One, it is a major terminal for ships right now, intended for ports. But if it falls in the wrong hands, let's assume it falls into the hands of an adversary of the United States. Now you have a place where ships can dock in the Western Caribbean. And then you've got the concerns in the region over narco behavior and other type of cartel work that happens. And there's already been reported incidents in their free trade zone in Corozal where they have actually been caught moving illegal cigarettes and other contraband through there. So while small and gorgeous, by the way, it's a beautiful place, that sometimes can lull us into a sense of danger.
Yeah, this fight over nationalizing control of telecommunications also on the list here.
Absolutely.
The government there seems to want to be an authoritarian government. When the rest of the Western Hemisphere is swiftly moving away from such things, Cuba is on the verge of collapse. They have no oil, no electricity, no food, no tourism, no hope at the moment. And you see all of these countries that are moving away from the socialist model because it's an abject failure every single time. Here's Belize seemingly going the wrong way.
Absolutely. And look, that's a perfect example. Here's an issue of data security, right? And it's not just the data security of the local residents, it's of tourists. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people travel through there year after year. And those are Americans. And there's all sorts of people that are on those networks. So again, these are serious issues. And I think what a lot of these smaller countries need to realize, for a long time they were under the radar, they could get away with, just happy talking government. And you saw it in the seriousness of President Trump's national security strategy. And now you saw it once again in the speech that Secretary Rubio made, followed by other conversations that he had. He was at one-on-one press conferences with world leaders throughout the weekend. And in one of those sessions, they asked him, well, what are some of the things that the U.S. is willing to do? And he's like, we're willing to take visas away. And we're willing to take visas away, just like the U.S. is willing to sanction. They're willing to be aggressive and do whatever they can against these individuals who are taking these actions in these countries.
Yeah. Really.
So there you go, gentlemen and people at home and abroad. And like I said, I believe strongly because of this, the telecommunication takeover is dead in the water. And it is also my belief. I believe that this PNC meeting the present government had on Sunday, they maybe had gotten a tip-off about this tape and they acted before it was broadcast. Because all of a sudden, they are backpedaling. They are backpedaling and want to come to the people.
They're trying to get ingratiated with the people.
Thank you, Greg, and thank you for
Mr. Chairman?
Say again.
Yes, sir. No, I was saying that they're trying to get ingratiated with the people because they're getting pressured from outside now. Okay?
Yes, thank you. My take to guys, and my concern is that where you pointed out too that I was one of my concern. Who is going to pay for these buses? Where the money is going to come from? Who are the shareholders? Who who will control this bus industry when they had already used the public funds to do it to get rich? Who are these players? The Zabani guy refused to, and he lied. They already know who these players are. Guys, the Ferguson guy, the previous transport minister before this Zabani guy. Remember Floralia?
Floralia,
right? Remember all the hell of a loo and oh yes, and then he come nicely, I had negotiated with the National Bank for all the little small guys, who can't keep up with Floralia, could go in and get a little small loan and do an upgrade and all the little nice thing, right? Now listen to this now. When he did that to give one of their nice cronies a nice deal. That's the Ferguson guy. No, this Zabani guy. You want to say? Go ahead, Leonard.
No, I was saying he did that to take away somebody's runs and their contract so that they could put Florida in place, and they're doing it all over the country. When they get the public-private, they want to privatize it fully among themselves. People who have money won't buy into it and control it, and the small man will just continue to be on driver. But this
there we go.
Are smart enough to figure that out.
So there we go again. I talk about the Ferguson guy, the previous mouth for transport. Now we have this Zabani guy along with Chester, a friend of mine. Right? I surprised that guy to be cahooting with that kind of behavior against the people and taxpayers. Cahooting, because he know damn well what is going to happen. And for him to say, well, whoever don't abide by the law, well, hell, tough luck. Man, I want to tell you something, my brother. Right? Just remember that when this government is no more, where are you going to go? Who are you going to run to? You hear that? That was a program, right? Well, where are you going to run to? So
they have them bank account,
be careful what you are cahooting with. This Zabani guy, these guys are snakes. So my simple analogy is that whatever the Ferguson guy did to the bus owners, the little small guys, and we saw how that played out. Who got hurt? The same thing this Zabani guy want to reward one of his damn cronies, PUP cronies, the same way they reward from that motorcycle. They blame it on the motorcycle people and getting in accidents, and they're the one causing all the accidents. So let's do this. Set up you got to go through that test, and they find a nice little crony guy, and he will have to okay you and thing. We reward him with that. See, these things are so wrong, right? So wrong. And again, with all this monopoly, my whole point is, at the end of the day, these damn people are going to raise the bus fare. Who rides buses? Poor people. You see Johnny Briceño riding any damn bus, or his wife, or his son, or his daughter, or his family member? Do you see Zabani riding any damn buses? You see Chester riding any damn... See, these are the things that pisses me off. I say it plain, right? And these guys have no remorse, right? No remorse at all. They do their nastiness and stinkiness to the people. They ride away in the sunset and left the poor Belizean people fighting with themselves, The next lead bus man and come crash up the next one, and come fighting themselves. Who causes that? My people, you see the chaos that these hogs, these criminals, these, I will not say more because that's how I see them. You could shoot me through the television, I don't give a hoot, right? But what I'm saying is that you call these people out for who the hell they are, right? So, you listen to the Cowitch guy. That young boy, I watched him grow up in Belmopan. In the UDP, the transport man, the leaving transport man in the UDP, I'm in Belmopan from in the 70s, right? So I watched Belmopan flourish, Mr. Cowitch, right? You watch what happened when this transport, the same thing is going to happen again, you know. He put it in a nice word. This PUP government now, or Uber, they have it, they call it the Bositos. So it's going to be a damn war, Cowitch, with the Bositos man and the Uber man. So what are you creating? You're a damn fool, right? You're a fool, you stupid, right? You are only going to create problems in Belmopan with the Bositos, Mr. Man, if you don't know, and your Uber crop that you come in with, right? We'll see that to the end, if that is your intention. Not a good thing for you, Mr. Cowitch. I tell you that, right? I could tell you that to your face. Not a good thing for you, right? The same thing, Mr. Zabani and Chester and Brisenio. Not a good thing for you what you guys are doing, okay? And I would like for you, Mr. Zabani, to disclose every name item, every name, and disclose it to the Belizean people. Who are these players in your bus that you're talking about?
If I may,
Go ahead,
man
Greg.
already put something out there as 42 million is going to the government. 75 million will be there for entity like Social Security and other people to buy into shares. And it's all divided up already. It's all divided up already.
You see? And you see
those who don't
what
have
they
money,
did with the Bolito? Now go for, you see the pattern of behavior. You see what they did with the Bolito? Do you think the public have any dollar for get back from the Bolito where they use it as public? The Belizean people rich, and they set up some people from commercial. Oh, this stuff for we Bolito, and we back to the people. Man, stop that damn foolishness, right? People need to, you know, these are things that you guys do, past and present government do, and get away with it on sucker the Belizean people and on a ride off in the sunset.
But Mr. Chairman, have me an excuse. The Bolito money was supposed to help with NHI and help the people in medical field. So if that is the case, Mr. Chairman, why is this happening to Southsiders?
Opened in 1988, the Port Loyola Clinic once served as a dual-functioning health center for residents in the area and a psychiatric daycare. But over the years, as the building began to deteriorate from within, it forced the ministry to shut it down completely until a building assessment could be done. But as it turns out, they will never be able to reopen it, because a few repairs won't fix the problem.
The Port Loyola Clinic over the years has continued to deteriorate despite us trying to do some renovations.
And I
So
will
damn
stop
sad.
it there. Where is the Bolito money?
So damn sad. Mr. Morrison, 2 minutes. 3 minutes. Leonard, can we get 3 minutes each? Right? For closing. Mr. Morrison, please. I you know, my head is hot.
Well,
right?
Thank you all very much. You know, I understand some of the complaints and some of the concerns about what has happened in the past, but we always need to be hopeful that our government and our leaders will be people of goodwill and virtue, and that we need to not only hope that they will be, but that we put into place structures that will hold them accountable so that we can ensure that they will act with integrity and treat the people with justice and righteousness. And so we need to make sure that our laws then will find these board members, these government ministers, and them accountable. We need to make sure that firstly we structure them so that it is not always the I know government needs to have a level of control over bodies that to ensure that their policies are not sabotaged, because when you elect a government to carry out what they mandated as their policy. So there's an advantage there that they should have, but it should also be so that the public can they can be accountable to the public. I think we're seeing a little bit of this, not so much in the BTL board, but in the actions of the resistance of the people that are voicing their opinion and concerns about this deal. And we need to make sure that we continue to hold them accountable and that the public remain vigilant and active and involved in all of the affairs. We can't let things just slide to a hell stop and then we become concerned, because that's where we were. We were hours away from having BTL purchasing Smart and Next Gen. We were hours away from that happening. As we said, Ms. Nisbet and probably some other members and the general public and the media in some instances voiced great concerns that caused us all to have reflection. So I'm hoping that that sort of action continues and that we don't always judge that we can't move forward and be progressive in terms of having new buses and accountable. And in doing that, we also need to have the accountability of the management of those systems. But we need to have new buses. We need to have all those resources that are necessary for a better Belize and a better benefits of the citizens of our country.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison. Leonard, a few minutes, my brother.
2 minutes I'll take. I don't know if I'll take the whole two, but
yeah.
If we had decent people who had goodwill towards the country to run or deal with our affairs on our behalf, because all we can't run the affairs, we do need to elect a government. The problem is that they come to us and promise these, make these promises that they're going to do what's right because of how wrong the previous ones before them did. And we get suckered again because we have to find somebody, or we have to have somebody, and we vote somebody, and the people who are voting, whether red, blue, green, yellow, or whatever, well, of course, up to now, we only have red and blue. But from since independence day till now, why are we so bad lucky that all the people that we have, well, the majority, I wouldn't say all, there are exceptions, there's always exceptions. The majority of the people then sit in cabinet and conspire against the interests of the Belizean people and turn out to be a bunch of scoundrels and rascals. Why do they have to be like that? There's no justification for that to happen, because we know for sure that there's good-minded people. In fact, we see some of them right now in cabinet, even though it might be just a front pretense to try and justify for them to say, well, like, we weren't in favor of it, or we didn't this, or we didn't that. The bottom line is that at least some of them step forward and they pretend and at least lend one support to the cause. That is the cause of not getting ourselves suckered and taken advantage of with the people who have our powers. We don't hold the powers ourselves. We entrust that to them. And if Mr. Bishanian want, come hell or high water, he could have Social Security and BTL and PUC collude among themselves to justifiably make this thing work. Because right now he's saying let them two people or then two companies do the negotiation, and then after when they don't do the negotiation and don't sign a document according to him, we could step in and decide what we want to do or not do. That's how it works, sir. But the man know that. You just try to suck away into, being appeased to the point of letting them do what they need to do. And once that ink is settled, like I said, and signed, Mr. Ascoff won't take that to his own bank because he won't collect once BTL is buy.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Leonard. Well said. Greg?
Mr. Chairman, I want to say this.
You're welcome, sir.
To people at home and abroad and gentlemen. As in this bus company, I believe that when you are having private-public company, the private partner must disclose its assets and put it up for collateral. So if the company fails, their position in collateral is taken over to pay for damages. Until we set those examples forward, we will continue to be recycling funds and money out of taxpayers' coffers. I go back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Mr. Morrison. Quickly, like you see the hospitals in this country, how they are in dire need of supplies, dire need of equipment, dire need of doctors, specialists, right? All over this country. And yet you have these jackals, right? So, they did that deal with the Bolido, and they said, we are going to, this is what we are going to do. And they haven't, done right by the Belizean people in terms of providing the proper health care that the people need. But why they keep doing this, that first of all, when these guys get elected, they get all that privilege. They get to travel abroad with them and their family to wherever country they would like to go, take them for whatever treatment they need to get, whether cancer or see it plays out or any terminally ill. While the poor people have to suffer using what we have, which is nothing. So they keep doing that. So it's okay. You see the big hullabaloo, like you mentioned, Mr. Morrison, about the hospital deal in Belmopan, and nobody hold this guy to task for the $91 million, right? That's supposed to. See, we don't know if that money, he got that money already, that was given to build this top of the line hospital in Belmopan. Well, I know the landman that they made their deal with got their money, right? But nothing happened yet. So it will happen in his next term, maybe, right? So then you see the bus situation, and everything is all geared up for, the poor people to suffer, for the poor people should think, that like, wow, the bus fare gone up, so we used to pay $2.50. We need to find another $1 to ride this bus to take my kids to school, to move from point A to point E, because again, reality, the damn leaders, they do not use the public transportation. No. But they are profiting from the public transportation in the name of public, for the public. But they're the ones profiting. Same thing.
Modern slavery, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. And these things are so sad. So kudos to the U.S. government for again putting Belize on notice. But what would satisfy my heart is to start putting some of these suckers in jail. Plainly, because they have done wrong. So if a man could go to jail for stealing a damn corned beef or a pack of bread, the judge have no problem sending him for 3 months, 2 months, 6 months. I don't see why a damn politician, damn leader in this country that committed atrocities. I call these things crimes and atrocities that they commit against our people and nation. Other people call it anything else they want to call it. That's their prerogative. I call it how I see it. Until one of these suckers go to jail, then I think, the others will take heed. Until then, we need UNCAC. The UDP don't want UNCAC. The PUP don't want UNCAC. They have a reason why, right? So I end the show by saying thank you to the U.S. government for again, and it's not the first time they're putting Belize on notice. Not the first time. God damn it, if you're getting so much grants, so much billions of dollars for the year, for the 5 years, and have nothing to show for it, why the hell can't you be held accountable for that? That's simple. That's not something stupid for me to say, right? If I entrust you with something and then you cannot produce what I entrusted you for, God damn it, you should be held accountable, right? So again, thanks to the US. And again, guys, I always, be passionate on when it comes to dealing with my people, especially the poor and the less fortunate, this country of Belize, right? And the healthcare system, right? The transportation system. Those are the labor, the workforce. I'm passionate about that because I see the crimes that have been committed against these my people, right? So again, thank you, Mr. Morrison. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you, Greg. Always for show and tell.
Thanks
And
for a nice
don't be
program
mad
again
at
tonight.
me. Don't be mad at me for my passion about my people and nation. I'll die that way.
I think we
Thank
made
you very
record.
much.
Chairman.
I think we made record tonight. We're gonna be on 2 hours.
Thank you.
With that said, Mr.
Thank you
Chairman,
again,
I
Mr.
want to
Morrison,
say
for bracing us again. Greg, take it away.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. With that said,
Nice program,
I want
gentlemen.
to say thank you guys for a healthy debate. I think we have covered a lot of ground. And I want to say good night to you, the people at home and abroad.
Very nice.
Again, on Friday, which is Constitution night, kindly tune in to us. Good night to one and all.